Okay, so far I have demonstrated how the first beast, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and the second beast, Islamic Isa, are also known by the following additional names and titles, which you can see in these two images displayed on this page. I will just run through them with you. As you can see in the image on the left hand side, the first beast is also known as the seventh king, the beast, the Assyrian, the first beast, Islamic Mahdi, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the Antichrist. As you can see in the image on the right hand side, the second beast is also known as the eighth king, the false prophet, the Antichrist, the second beast, Islamic Isa, King Nebuchadnezzar II. Today, it is common knowledge amongst Muslims that the Quran, combined with the Hadiths, teach that the Islamic Mahdi will arrive at the end of this age, followed shortly afterwards by the Islamic Isa, who will arrive gracefully descending from the sky over the minaret of a mosque located in Damascus, whilst clutching onto the wings of two angels. So just to break this down for you in simple terms, the Mahdi arrives first, followed by Isa, who arrives second. This is confirmed in the following Islamic Hadith verses. The promised Mahdi will be of my family. Ibn Majah, Sahih, Volume 2, page 519. And the Prophet Muhammad said, this world will not pass away until the Arabs are ruled by a man of my family, whose name will be the same as mine. Abu Dawud, Book 36, number 4269. Isa, son of Mary, will descend from heaven over the white minaret to the east of Damascus. Sahih al-Albani, Sunnah Abi Dawud, 4321, Book 38, Hadith 4307. Muslims believe that Isa's descent from heaven will be accomplished by resting his hands on the wings of two angels. He will descend onto the white minaret, situated in the eastern part of Damascus. He will invite the whole world to be Muslim, including Christians and Jews. Mawudi AAA, Finality of Prophethood, pp 58 to 61, and volume 18, hadith number 814. I heard Muhammad the Messenger of Allah say, Isa the son of Maryam will descend from heaven, and the Mahdi will invite him to come and lead the people in prayer. But Isa would say, no, some amongst you are commanders over the others amongst you. This honour from Allah belongs to the Mahdi. Sahih Muslim, Hadith 293, narrated by Jabir ibn Abdullah. This is basic Islamic doctrine. Just ask any Muslim and he will confirm this as a fact. Anyone who disagrees and claims that Isa comes before the Mahdi has a poor understanding of the Quran/Hadiths. Muslims will simply laugh at anyone who says this. Therefore, I will repeat what I said earlier. It is a fact that the Islamic Mahdi arrives first, followed later by the Islamic Isa, who arrives second. Okay, now going on to a different topic, which is still related to this particular subject. In Daniel chapter 7, it mentions 4 beasts. It is important that I make it clear that these 4 beasts represent 4 world-ruling kings and kingdoms, which will rule the world in sequence, one after the other, until the return of the real Jesus Christ, who will conquer and destroy them during his second coming. I have provided a full identification and explanation for each of these 4 beasts, along with the kings and kingdoms that they represent, in another video that I have made, which is titled Identified 4 Beasts of Daniel chapter 7. For the purpose of this video, I will be focusing on the identity of the 4th beast in that chapter. This is a very complex task, which I will attempt to clarify for you on the following pages. This beast with 10 horns, followed by an 11th horn, which pops up later, represents a kingdom and its king, along with 11 co-rulers. The following Bible verse confirms that this beast represents a kingdom. Daniel chapter 7 verse 23. The 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth. The kingdom which this beast represents is the Roman Empire, which goes through a transformation process where it eventually morphs into a world Islamic state caliphate. The next Bible verse confirms that this beast also represents a king. Daniel chapter 7 verse 17. The 4 great beasts are 4 kings. The king who this beast represents is the Islamic Mahdi, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. His 10 commanders, kings, are represented by the 10 horns. The Islamic Isa is represented by the 11th horn, which pops up last of all. This appears to match the Quran Hadith verses, which confirm that Isa arrives last of all, just after the Mahdi. I need to emphasize that Isa, who is the 11th horn, is mentioned in Daniel chapter 7 verses 7 to 8. The Bible then goes on to explain how these persons will eventually rule the world together as a team. This is confirmed in the following verses. Revelation chapter 13 verse 7. And power was given to the beast over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Revelation chapter 17 verses 12 to 14. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but will receive authority as kings along with the beast for 1 hour. Al-Baghdadi also perfectly fits the profile of the 4th horseman of the apocalypse, called Death, who is mentioned in Revelation chapter 6 verse 8. The entity which follows behind him, called Hell, appears to fit the profile of the Islamic Isa. Remember that Isa arrives after Al-Baghdadi, the Mahdi, in the Quran combined with the Hadiths. Here's the Bible verse about the 4th horseman. Revelation chapter 6 verse 8. And I looked, and I saw a pale horse, and the name of the person who sat on it was Death, and Hell followed behind him, and power was given to them over a quarter of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Bear in mind that elsewhere in a different Bible verse, Revelation 13:8, the Jesus imposter, Isa, is portrayed as rising up out of hell. It is also important to point out that if we look at the last part of the verse shown on this page, it states that these 2 people, known as Death and Hell, will control a quarter of the earth when they arrive. This makes perfect sense because Islam actually does control a quarter of the earth now, today, in 2017. Okay, so according to that Bible verse, it says that hell will follow behind death. This sounds shockingly similar to 4 Islamic hadiths which teach that Isa will follow behind the Mahdi in submission and prayer. This is confirmed in Jabir ibn Abd Allah, Al-Husayr al-Ijiri, Sa'id ibn Jabayr. In all of the Bible verses mentioned on the next page, it is interesting to note that the second beast, Islamic Jesus, Isa, is always portrayed as arriving after the first beast, Mahdi al-Baghdadi. And as I have already shown earlier, this corresponds exactly with the Quranic hadith account of the Mahdi and Islamic Jesus, Isa, of Islam. There is too much of a similarity here between the Bible and the Quran for it to be a coincidence.